All right, guys and ladies, welcome back for this third video in our pouch weaving tutorial series on how to create a woven little pouch. And this is the pouch. This is kind of what we're going for. Only yours will probably be quite a bit larger than this. I just made a small one for video demonstration purposes. So what you will need is the loom that you cut and warped and is ready for the first pass on the weaving. You will also need some yarn that you're going to use on your pouch, and you'll need a weaving needle. Yours does not have to be as long as this one. What's most important about it is that it has a nice good sized eye that you can thread your yarn through, and that it has a blunt tip. You don't want a pointed sharp needle on this, because as you're weaving it can catch these threads and it can make little tears in it, and it can cause the thread to break, or you can accidentally poke through the center of one and pull your yarn through there, and then it won't slide like you need it to slide. So you want one with a good blunt point on it, and these are the ones I usually give you if you're in my class. So the color that you choose to start with is up to you. Just know that the first color that you choose is going to be the color that fills in the bottom. So it will be not as noticeable as the other colors that you decide to use. So just be aware that that's going to be your bottom color. A lot of times I will do the bottom color in a color that matches my warp strings, but I'm just going to, for this one, I mean, it's so small, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to do this one. For contrast, so you can see, I'm going to start with a lighter color thread or yarn, so it's easier for you to watch and see what I'm doing. Now this video is only going to show you the first pass on the front and the back. So that means when we go across the front one time, and then when we go around to the back one time. Because the way we do this first pass is different from the way that we do all the other passes for the rest of the pouch. So I wanted to do just a video about the first pass so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm even going to write a 1 on this side for the front, and then I'm going to write a 2 on the back side. So you can kind of keep up with what I'm doing and where I'm at. And you can do that too if you want to, but you don't have to. All right. A really easy way to keep your yarn from coming off of your needle while you're working on it is, you can always tie it, thread it through the needle and tie it on, but then you're having to cut the knots off all the time, and then it's just watch. This way is a little bit easier. So you take your string and you make kind of a small loop like that. Okay, do you see that little loop right there? Okay, I got this little loop right here. So I'm going to pinch that little loop, and I am going to send that loop through the eye of the needle. So I'm just going to kind of wiggle that through there until I can see, enough of it sticking out. And then what I'm going to do is this little tail right here, this short tail, I'm going to send that tail through the front of the loop. So I'm going to thread it through there like that. And then I'm just going to pull that short tail and then the long tail at the same time. And it cinches my yarn down onto the needle, but it's not knotted in place. All I have to do is tug on that a little bit and it just falls right out. It's much easier than you knotting it on there than having to cut knots off all the time and everything else. So I'm going to do that one more time so you can see me again. I made my little loop, and I'm just going to find the end of it, and I'm just going to pinch that little loop because I need to be able to send it through the eye of my needle. And this little short tail, I'm going to push right through that hole, that little loop there. And I'm going to pull both ends at the same time. Okay? and that holds it on there for me. So weaving is just, it's based on patterns, okay? It's, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or it's over, under, over, under, over, under, okay? This first pass that we do, we're going to make sure that our pattern stays the same the whole time across the front and the back. So we're just going to do an AB pattern, an over, under, all the way across. So I'm going to take my needle, and I always like to start with an under. I don't know why. I just do it. I don't know. But so I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over each one of my little warp threads, okay? So if I look at this right now, I can see that, if I numbered these, or if I gave them, A, B, A, B, A, B, all of my A's are on top of the needle, and all of my B's are under the needle, okay? So I went under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and I'm going to pull that through, and I'm going to leave a little tail right there, okay? So I went under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And because I'm right-handed, I work from right to left. But if you're left-handed, you're probably going to work left to right. It doesn't matter which way you work as long as you keep it going in the same direction. So because I'm right-handed, I'm going to go right to left. So when I turn this over to the back, my string is on the right side, sticking out here. I'm going to look and see what I did last on the front. So I went under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay? This one has to be over because this one right here, the last one I did on the front was an under. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay? I'm going to look to make sure that my pattern of under, over is correct, and then I'm going to pull the needle through, and that is the first pass on the front and the back of the loom. So on this first pass, it's just really important that the pattern stays the same the whole way around. In the next video, you'll see how that is a little bit different from here on out on pass number 2 and then all the other ones that you need to do. But as long as your pattern, front and back, is staying in that AB pattern, then it's correct and you are ready for the next step. But don't start the next step till you watch the next video, okay? I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.